And welcome to SEO Secrets with Josh Bachynski. I am the aforementioned Josh Bachynski. If you've never seen the show before, we are the finest place on the YouTube to get information about SEO. I've been doing it for upwards of, since the late 90s, so upwards of 28 to 27 years, before Google even existed. And I've been doing this show for about 15 years. We are the longest running and the best show on the YouTubes to get information about SEO. Because we actually test the ranking factors and we know actually how Google works. As you're going to see today, you're going to see a prime example of how the SEO industry says this, and we're going to prove in them in a case study, no, it's actually that. So that's what we're doing today, which is called the Goldmine debacle. We're going to be dealing with that in a couple seconds. Before I do that, a couple of house cleaning things to get out of the way. If you have any questions, you're free to ask. This is also kind of an Ask Me Anything show. You can come on and ask any questions. If you want to ask the questions privately, you are more than welcome to do so. You could join this Zoom that I'm on here. If you want to join the Zoom, email me for any kind of questions, basically for anything, just email me and I'll redirect you to the right spots. So let me put my email address here. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. There we go. Also, if you're watching live on the YouTubes, you can ask questions live on the right-hand side and I will happily answer them when and if I notice that they are there, which I'll try. Speaking of which, I have a long-running segment on the show. Is Josh actually broadcasting to YouTube correctly? So let's go here and check out. Yes, I am. I am broadcasting correctly. So if you have any people who are trying to learn SEO, trying to get into SEO, get them in this call, get them here, get them watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe on the YouTubes. Kick the monkey, smack the goat, ring the bell, whatever you got to do to get notifications that I've gone live. And you can learn, so we can hang out and learn some SEO secrets. That'll be all good vibes. Good vibes, guys. Nothing but good vibes here. So today, the Goldmine debacle. So, SEO. So, I've been doing, like I said, SEO for a very long time, and I have a very long-running reputation, a proud reputation of being the one to call out bullshit when I see it. And being the one to, Mohammed asks, and I don't know how to pronounce which is probably your actual name, because Mohammed is probably just an appellation, peace be upon the Prophet. He says, happy to join this meeting now. Will you also allow us to unmute and ask questions about SEO? Yeah, definitely. After I'd done the talking about the Goldmine, by all means, yeah, please unmute yourself and ask any questions you have, my friend. Okay, and again, if you're watching on YouTube, ask any questions there, and or you can just type it in the chat. Either way, is fine by me. Okay, so Goldmine. So yes, so as I said, I've been doing SEO a very long time, and I did a master's degree in a science-related discipline, and I was doing a PhD in a science-related discipline. So I take truth claims very seriously. When someone says X, Y, Z is the case, I go and check to see if that's actually true. And sadly, the SEO industry, I found when I came back into it after I was in it, I was working in IT as a teenager, getting into web design and development and SEO, which was all, before the year 2000, was all the same thing. There wasn't enough work for each person to do. And then maybe web design versus web development. And then in the early 2000s, then I went back to school. I was still paying for school by doing SEO for various people for the most part. Except in 2007, 2008, I had to take a job as a bouncer because I also have 3 black belts. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I can take a job as a bouncer. That's fine. Those funny stories of those days, let me tell you. And then continuing on. And then I started getting back in the SEO industry after that. Around 2010, I realized, yeah, actually, this PhD sucks. And I'm going to go back to SEO because I can make tons more money there and I'm not surrounded by a bunch of assholes. Well, surprisingly, actually, I was surrounded by some assholes. Some very nice people, like all you folks listening and watching, of course. But the SEO industry was rife. So I had this love. I have this love affair with truth claims and them being actually true, actually facty claims being actually factual. Go figure. Right? Call me crazy. Call me autistic. I am mildly autistic. Call me mildly autistic. I observed the SEO industry had a bunch of charlatans in it with snake oil. And I felt that's sad, that's wrong. And I need it to make sense. I need to do SEO for my own sense, for my own sake, and for my own clients, for my own projects. And I need to help people because I need there to be justice in the world. I need there to be truth upheld to some degree. So I started calling people out, being like, yeah, you think the disavow file does something. I've tested it 60 times. It doesn't do a damn thing. All it does is feed Google's, just for example, all it does is feed Google's machine learning, and there's going to discount all your links you put in there. So you're basically you're allowing Google to fool you, and basically allowing them to scare you into self-admitting what you've done. And it can definitely hurt your rankings. And anyone who used the disavow file, except for some very rare black hat cases, anyone and everyone after like 60, 70 tests of the disavow file who used it, their rankings dropped, it plummeted. So there's no point in using it, right? And so I'm like, you shouldn't use the disavow file, maybe do this, maybe do that. There's maybe like 10 moves I'd try before the disavow file, blah, 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 blah. And the SEO industry went crazy, and oh, Josh is the devil, and blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, well, sorry, I don't mean to be the Hasatan. I don't mean to be the great adversary. But you're all wrong. You're hurting people. You shouldn't be telling these to disavow file. You're going to destroy their rankings and destroy their business. Important stuff like that. Fresca. So, I don't know. They're not sponsoring the show. I'm drinking one. So, I have a long career of, I feel sad for people who get duped by what's wrong in the SEO industry. Still, it's never been worse in the SEO industry. People don't even think there is an SEO industry anymore, that it's now GEO. Ooh, it's all GEO. And we need to optimize for Perplexity, for the millions of people using Perplexity, on the millions of sales I'm missing for Perplexity. Wrong. Only nerds using Perplexity. Virtually no one, so far as the stats are showing, uses it for a purchasing decision. Google is still by far, by like factors of 10, are where you need to rank, where you need to be. If you think GEO means the AI overview in Google or AI mode, okay, well, that's different. Yes, people are using that 50% of the time, roughly. You need to get into that. And I teach courses on how to do that. If you want to learn how to get in the AI overview and get 70, 80% clicks and crush it and make way more money than you were before, rank way better than you were before, email me and I could show you how. My mentorship group is very accessible, a super positive community that can very quickly get you from zero to hero in SEO, and even top up your game if you already feel you're an SEO hero. Great. We're a bunch of SEO heroes. Join us. Join the Justice League. Join Professor Xavier's Academy. That would make me Xavier. Although, with the plaid and the chest hair and the grizzle, maybe I'm closer to Wolverine, maybe, I don't know, but without the drinking problems, I hope, I would imagine. Jim gives me a heart. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. So, or whatever, a very Canadian version of Cyclops or something. I don't know. Beast, yes, Beast. That makes sense. With the chest hair, Beast makes the most sense because he is also a scientist. That's right. Right. Beast was a scientist too. There you go. That makes more sense. Anyway. Okay. So, yes. So that leads us now to the latest debacle, where the SEO industry really doesn't have any idea what it's doing, and it's saying lies, and just it doesn't have sufficient epistemic hygiene, I would call it. They don't have sufficient controls as to when their mouth starts running and saying things. So what is this Goldmine debacle? Well, let me show you. So my old friend Barry Schwartz, some time ago here, where's his website? Some time ago, he had this thing about the Goldmine search content ranking system. And he picked this up. It must have been a slow news day. Some guy, now I'm not going to slag this guy off, whoever he is who did this. He was looking into, this guy here was looking into the leaked API documentation. Now, what is that? Here's the leaked API documentation. Did you know there's been numerous Google leaks? And that pretty much all of Google's ranking factors, at least the ranking factors of like 4 or 5 years ago, have been completely and utterly leaked online through various court cases, through this leak here, where we got the API content warehouse, where this is the API documentation for, and now Adobe Acrobat's not responding for some stupid reason. Oh, my kingdom for a horse. The API content warehouse is where the parent company of Google, Alphabet, has API documentation for every piece of technology under Alphabet's roof or umbrella, including, of course, most importantly for us, Google search rankings. And all of the ranking factors are leaked in here. And let me show you. They're leaked in very important places. Like, if I just scroll down, you'll see, look at all this. Abuse this, and anchors that, and apps this, and data this, and it goes on and on and on. It's 7,414 pages, right? And so he was looking through, so there's a ton of ranking factors in this document. I've done a ton of videos on it. My mentorship group has an entire course on this, and we did 5 or 6 different experiments from this document, and we found very exciting ranking factors from it. Now, again, not to toot our own horns, but we're pretty solid when it comes to SEO science, and we rank all very well. We have the wins to prove it. I have the proof. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof, and you can see just some of the wins. And that's just a Dropbox folder I throw our wins into on a regular basis, a semi-regular basis. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof, and you can see, and you can go back for months and months and months and years and years and years of all the wins that we've had. Those aren't even all of them. Those are just the ones that I report or they're self-reported by students. Both people using SEO Copilot and my students in the mentorship group, or both. Many of the students in the mentorship group are using SEO Copilot too, of course. And so, again, not to sound, people are like, Josh is so arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Not to sound arrogant, and I know it might sound crazy for me to say this, but we know the ranking factors. We reverse engineered them. Sorry, I shouldn't use that word. The AI is going to flag me, and the shadow ban of my account will continue. My YouTube account is under a shadow ban, by the way. In case you're wondering, why does Josh have so few views? Go back. I used to have a lot. I'm shadow banned because I talk about Google and I slag them off. So is my blog, which you can't even find in Google, where I slagged off Google. Yes, that happens. You can get penalized. Yes, they do that. Yes, they're vindictive, and so they've done that. So we have a lot of wins, and we had tested a lot of the algorithms. I have years and years and years of testing, very stringent professional level testing, because I was trained professionally to do science. And so I kind of have half an idea of what I'm doing. Now, I didn't wear a lab coat. I didn't have special safety glasses on. So everyone pipe down when you're like, well, Josh, your MA was, wasn't it part philosophy, part science? Yes, it was, but science is not that hard. Sorry, it's just not that difficult. Not for the black box of Google. Testing the black box of nature is much more complex and difficult than testing the black box of Google, where there's only 5 possible options. All the options are limited, as opposed to nature could work anyway. Google has to work in these certain ways because that's the only access to technology they have, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So it was much easier to test Google. Anyway, we were not surprised at all when this 7,414 page document was leaked. Don't get me wrong, I was very surprised that it was leaked. I wasn't surprised at all, and I was very suspicious as to the motives, like if this was a purposeful leak from Google or not. But we can discuss that another time, or you guys can ask about it if you want to know more about that. But we were not surprised as to what they said were the ranking factors. When they clearly found the section that talked about the ranking factors. The per doc data is the actual section. I think it's page 1,783, if I'm not mistaken. That's where they list the actual annotations that they put per document or per page, the data they put per page that they annotate. The annotations is the actual language they use to get the ranking factors on these exact documents to score them up or score them down. Now there's more ranking factors than that, but those are mostly a lot of the boosters and some of the demoters. And there are hundreds of other demoting factors for blogs, for e-commerce, for this, for that. Most of actually, one of the surprising things that we noticed, and I wasn't that surprised actually, is that the vast majority of Google's indexing, crawling, and ranking factors are deranking factors. They index you less, not more. They crawl you less, not more. They rank you lower, not higher. Google has an embarrassment, and it makes sense when you think about it. Google has an embarrassment of riches problem. They have to sort through trillions, with a T, trillions of spam pages every year. It costs them millions and millions of dollars to do so. And so everything Google does is to make money. They don't give a flying fuck about you. They don't give a flying fuck about whether you rank or not. They don't give a flying fuck about anything except for, like any money-grubbing capitalist corrupt corporation, and that's at the top of the highest corporations in the world. The only fucking thing they care about is taking more of your money into their pockets. That's all they care about. That is the game. That's capitalism. That's the game. That's what, it's a monopoly. That's the game. That's what they do. And so why does Google have all these deranking algorithms? Because it saves them money. Because they need to classify and categorize you sooner, faster, cheaper, better, so that they don't index you once, try to index you once a day and cost millions and millions of dollars. They'll try to index you every 6 months now because they've classified you as spam. They'll never go back. They won't go back for 6 months. It's a statistical analysis like that. So for you folks out there who or maybe a little bit on the ADHD side, who are now not now, right? It's black or white, it's on or off, and you have trouble parsing statistics. I'm not saying they'll never go back to your website. I'm saying they will go back to your website less. Statistically, it brings down the money they spend on trying to index and crawl the web. So they can steal your content without your permission, put it into a database, monetize it in many different ways, including now building their AIs off it, and now not even giving you traffic in many cases for higher level informational queries, so they can make money, right? So they can make money. It's the only thing they do is making money. They want to be the internet. They've always wanted to be the internet. Somebody had a TEDx talk that said this around 2014, 15, that, this was happening. I'm not the only guy who said this happening either, of course. I'm probably the only guy left saying this is happening, quite frankly. I'm the last. I'm the last of my kind. Okay. Yeah. So we weren't that surprised when that API document was leaked. We knew, I'm like, yeah, we know this is a ranking factor. Great confirmation. We know this. We've tested this. We know this. And then we ran into some that I'm like, wow, is that a ranking factor? How could that be a ranking factor? There's about 5 or 6 that surprised us. We tested them. There's more than that. There was like 10 or 20 that surprised us. I could test in a single variable environment 5 or 6. The other 15 to 20 were not viable for a single variable test because that's a very strict testing regulative system in which they just simply wouldn't fit. You could do field tests. You could maybe check it in the field. There's no possible way you could do a single variable test for certain of these factors. So I tested the ones that we could, and lo and behold, all 5 or 6 were ranking factors. And we found out exactly how they worked. And we're like, oh, wow, okay, like stuff like truth. Truth is a ranking factor. Did you know that? But it's truth thought about in a very specific way. Maybe not the way you think about truth. It's truth thought about in a very specific way. Front-facing schematic data is a ranking factor. Am I talking about the schema? No, I'm not talking about schema. Don't use schema. Unless you're in e-commerce, schema is a waste of time. Schema is something you do when you messed up the on-page the first time, and you could have just done it right to begin with and gotten better ranking factors, right? And things like that. We learned things of this nature. Now, so we were pretty trained up on this document, been there, done that, looked at it. This was years ago this was leaked, or like feels like years ago to me. It was a long time ago it was leaked. This is not news. This is not new by any stretch of the imagination. Now it is 7,414 pages, so I can understand why it's taking time for the rest of the world to go through it. Because I did an MA and was doing a PhD, I'm used to reading fucking texts like this of gobbledygook jargon, science, and or the toughest philosophy on the planet, and trying to make sense of that crap. And so I was pretty good at going through it and studiously going through it and going blah, 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 blah. So I guess I went through it faster than everybody else, or I don't know. But this guy now has come back around and said he found the gold mine, right? He found the gold mine. The gold mine system, he called it. And he's right. In the document, there is something called Goldmine. He's not wrong. I'll show it to you here. If I do a search for Goldmine, there are 39 references to it. And then there's Goldmine adjusted score, anchor factor, all these different factors, final score, foreign, headerish, one, heading factor, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, and there's even more interesting stuff like that. There's golden documents, not Goldmine, but golden. There's golden documents, right? There's a bunch of those. There's unicorn. There's unicorn clicks. There's unicorn users. There's all kinds of this kind of idea in the leaked documentation. There's all these kinds of ideas where whatever, I'll just put this here. There's all these kinds of ideas here where they seem to have like this gold standard kind of user to watch their clicks or page to look at their tags. And that should tell you right there where this guy got it wrong for Goldmine, or for Golden to look at page content, to hold up for their machine learning, for their AIs to learn what a gold standard document is, so that they can do what? What does Google do? What is the only thing they do? So they can make more money. How would they make more money by doing this? By doing what they've said publicly they want to do for over 20 years, which is fire all their fucking employees, which is they've literally, not, they didn't use the word fuck, but not in public, but that's what they want to do. They want to fire all their employees. They want to have an AI, and they've said this publicly. This is public knowledge. They said this publicly, that they want to have an AI that will get rid of all the people, all the employees, as many employees as they can, the quality raters that they used to have working for them, tens of thousands of them. They've fired tens of thousands of them because they have an AI that can rate the quality, because they found these golden unicorn and Goldmine kind of idea of documents. And then so they can machine learn. This is the Paragon page. Compare everything else to this. This is what we want to rank. Compare everything else to this. That's what they do. This is the unicorn user. This is the exactly how a human being clicks through a page. And we want to use clicks as a ranking signal, and they do. And there's certain ways you need to take advantage of that, and certain ways you should avoid taking advantage of that, because otherwise you're going to get penalized. So it is the strongest penalty that exists. Worse than, well, not worse than links. Links can be quite bad too. But you have to do something really dumb with links to get like a -100 or -150 penalty or something like that. And by far, pound for pound, clicks are the biggest ranking factor there is. How to take advantage of that, again, email me and you can join the mentorship group. And if you're ignoring that, then you're not going to last. You're not going to last. I find a lot of people come to this show and they're like, I'm doing just fine, Josh. I'm ranking spot number 5, on 10 queries, so I'm doing good. 1, that's not good. You should be ranking number 1. 2, that's not long-term viable, right? It's like looking out the window and going, oh, the weather's fine today. Therefore everything's fine and it'll never snow. Like, winter is coming. If I've been doing this a very long time, and so I have a very long perspective of it. If you're ranking number 5 now, that's a sign of death, like Grandpa Simpson said. You should be ranking number 1 strongly, and so strong that you've dominated your niche. You're going to build another site because you don't know what else to do with yourself. That's when you're doing fine. Doing fine is having one site crushing it so badly that you have to make another one because you just have nothing left to do on the first one. That's doing fine. That has longevity. That has long-term stability. Ranking number 3 or 4 on a site for the last month. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make people upset with my blunt statements, but that's not good enough. Like that is risk. Alarm bells go off for me. That's like no. Would I invest in that business? Fuck no. Should you? Hell no. Muhammad asks, please give a list of ranking factors according to you. No, no, sorry. So here's another thing I'm going to say. People are always like, Josh, give me all the ranking factors for free. No. This information, 1, I can't make it public. Google would change it. 2, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours acquiring it. SEO knowledge is like trade secrets. It should not be given out for free. It will never be given out for free. No good ranking factors are ever given out for free. You can't do SEO for free. You just can't. You cannot. Sorry. You can't be a brain surgeon for free. You just can't. We work in a capitalism. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? We live in a capitalism. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So this is what I do for a living. So no, I'm sorry. I will in my Beast Logan Wolverine fashion snicked and say no, bub, and I'll spit and smoke my cigar. That's not how that works. I don't know where we got this idea, the millennials and this generation and the Gen Z after, who are like, everything should be for free on YouTube. Nope. 1, it shouldn't. 2, it's not. People think it is. It's not. It's just not. Any SEO information you get for free is utter shit, and you cannot base a business off it. Now, I gave out some SEO information, and you're listening to this for free. So you might, by the transient property, you might be like, well, that means everything you said was wrong, Josh. No, I didn't say it was wrong. It's true. It's just not enough for you to monetize off of, right? Based off what I've said. I mean, some of you DIYers could. There's some DIYers who listen to what I say and they're like, oh, okay, then I can go off and do these kinds of things. I'm sorry. I didn't make the economy the way it was. I'm not Donald fucking Trump fucking moron. I didn't make the economy the way it is. I know things are tough. Things are tough for me too. No, the ranking factors don't get out there for free. And another thing that is a bad idea out there, boy, I'm going on a rant today, but I guess I will. Another thing that's bad out there is that people are like, oh, you should be able to do SEO for free. No, even if I did give you all the ranking factors for free, you'd still need about $500 a month to do SEO. It's a business. You're starting up a business. And like any business, I'm sorry, you need seed cash. You just do. You need seed cash. Everybody knows that to start up a business, you need money. You have to have money to start up basically any kind of business, and SEO is no different. You're going to have to pay for tools. You're going to have to pay for signals, right? You can't always do it all on your own. I mean, maybe you can, but then you probably wouldn't be able to move fast enough these days to be viable long term. That's the other thing, is getting back to the first rant, it's like the fifth rant, but getting back to the first rant of this sub-digression rant is that don't think because you're ranking 3 or 4 and you have been for a week or two, that therefore you're making it and it's working. It's not. It's not. You should be number 1. And that it's not, you're not making it and it's not working. It's not safe and viable, and it's not an indication that you know everything you need to know until you're crushing spot number 1 on hundreds of queries, theoretically, depending on how big your site is, dozens to hundreds to even thousands of queries. And you're doing so well, you need to start up a second site to soak up more places, more rankings, because you literally have nothing left to do on the first one. That is success. That is long-term viability. That is making it. That is knowing all the SEO ranking factors. That is having done it correctly. Now, a lot of you people out there are probably fairly bitter that I've said that. No, it's nothing personal. It is absolutely nothing personal. It's nothing personal, you guys. Guys, when I'm teaching martial arts and someone comes out there and like, yeah, I'm going to get in a fight and I'm so good. And they're punching like this with their chin way up. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to get your fucking teeth punched out of your fucking face. You know, I would be unethical to let them go out there like this, being like, yeah, fuck you, and fighting like this with their chin way up and one punch and teeth go flying out and they're unconscious. That is not tactically safe. That's not how you do it. Unless you're like, whatever, you're in the UFC and yeah, then you can bait them to come in, but that's something very different. I have to shut that delusion on their part down really quick so I can teach them actually how to do it and not get their clock cleaned. Similarly in SEO, and it's from a place of love. It is from a place of genuine care on my part about your well-being. It's coming from a place of genuine, that's how I structured my business, to be in line with my ethics, to be in line with my conscience. It comes from a genuine place of me worrying about your well-being and being like, oh, Jesus, they think this is success. There's gonna be trouble. And my dad, I'm not a dad, but my dad, I'm old enough to be a dad. My dad genes go off. I'm like, oh no, I must protect, and I'm trying to protect you, right? I'm trying to insulate you from yourself or protect you from all the bad SEO information out there. Getting back to the first digression, the purpose of this particular show, the SEO industry and their nonsense and snake oil that they spew out because they have no idea what they're doing because they haven't spent the time doing scientific testing. They haven't rolled up their sleeves like I have and done the scientific testing. Anyway, so it's and so don't take offense. Please do not take offense. This comes from an overabundance of care and caution from my part to indicate to you that to suggest the possibility, just a possibility, that maybe ranking 5 pages on page 1 and one query at spot number 2 isn't success. And the question is, can you maintain it? Can you improve it? And can you maintain it so much that this site is rock solid no matter what update happens? Update after update after update, nothing happens to it, and it's so good that you need to start another one. That and that alone is the mark of success in SEO. That and that's what my students get in SEO University. That and that, many of them, most of them, And if they don't, then they drop out. But I still have 100 students in, and a good 60 to 70 of them from the beginning. So we know what we're doing. That and that alone is that a longevity, and that amount of success is what you need to be like, I made it, that my SEO is good, I know what I'm doing. Those kinds of claims. And if we put you through your black belt test, and the black belts actually came at you almost full power, almost full aggression, and you survived, and yeah, you may have a fat lip and a black eye, but you survived. Yeah, now we feel confident giving you a black belt as well, because you've survived the trial by fire. That's the trial by fire in SEO, the equivalent of knowing, take it from me, and don't lie to yourself here, because then you're putting your own financial life in jeopardy. Don't lie to yourself that you're doing fine when you have a few pages ranking #1, and you've had that for 3 or 4 months, and you think you know SEO, and that has longevity. That's nowhere near enough data to say you have longevity. In fact, I would say probably not, especially since you thought that was good enough, right? That probably indicates that you won't survive. Anyway, so going back to the Goldmine. So we had tested all these things in that Google API leak document. We weren't surprised. We found 5 or 6 we did test that we didn't know. We were surprised. So we were pretty sure we knew everywhere in the document where they're talking about ranking factors. Now, it's entirely possible I missed some. It is 7,414 pages. It is huge, right? As I showed you here, it's a very long document. You can see the 7,414 there. And there is a lot of different factors that they talk about, like spam. There are a ton of spam factors. There's trust. There is a ton of trust scores and trust factors. They talked about demotion. There are tons of demotion or demoted factors or demoting factors. They talk about index. There's a ton of indexation factors. There's probably too many even to list in here. I'm gonna break Acrobat when I'm trying to search for that. So I might have missed something. So this guy, this numbnut here, came up with, he found Goldmine in here. And indeed, it looks like a goldmine. Like at first glance, you're like, oh, this could be interesting. There's page score, there's adjusted score, there's title tag factor, there's body factor, anchor factor, heading factor. That could, and again, I don't want to call Sean out, because one, he's a human being. I don't mean to slag him off or hurt his feelings in any way, shape, or form. I do need to call out kind of the dumbness that goes on in the SEO industry, though, that he could possibly have thought that these were actual ranking factors, and I'll show you why in a second, how I can disprove that like that very easily, very quickly. And also, quite frankly, why Rusty Brick would bother putting this on his website like this was new news, like this was important news that was new, or having in any way sorry, I have a fuzzy, I'm still sick. I don't know if you can hear my voice. I'm having fuzzy brain. That he endorsed, it was the word I was hunting for. That he would put this on his blog means that he endorsed that this was the case, right? Implicitly. He doesn't know that, and he doesn't care, because he's not actually an SEO. He's never actually been an SEO. As he fully admits, he's never been in an SEO. And he doesn't actually care. So people think his blog is like the gold standard of SEO reporting. Like for what's going on in the news, yes. But for how the actual ranking factors work, no. There is no public website that tells you how it actually works. Because then Google reads it and then changes the factors. Why? Because they want all of our money. Because SEO is $1 billion to $2 billion industry, and $100 billion of profit for them isn't fucking enough, and they want that too. They want us all to fail, so we have to go and buy Google ads. That's what they want, which they've fully admitted. Now, when you put their boots to the fire and get a beer in them, they're like, yeah, of course, we want all that money. Okay, and that's just their behavior. Their behavior speaks volumes. So this guy was going through the document here and thought he found literally the gold mine. It looks like a bunch of different ranking factors. And you're like, okay, maybe he did. Maybe he did find the gold mine. However, I'm like, okay, well, I'll check it out. Maybe I missed something. But however, when you start looking at it here, you realize a little bit of information that starts to get in the way. One, this says composite document indexing information. So right away, all these stuff listed here have nothing to do with ranking. It has to do with indexing, right? So I'm like, okay, here's a Goldmine mention. Here's another one, composite doc partial update information. Here's another list of Goldmine annotator names, present and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Image quality sensitive, Goldmine annotation to the CDoc to store the HR ID of the 5 entities. So when you look at this, you can see, okay, wait a minute. This isn't, you start to realize these are not ranking factors. These are annotations that were called Goldmine for whatever reason in their document storage to find some kind of machine readable ID of 5 entities to flesh out their KG used by the skin tone twiddler. And the twiddler in here is query deserves diversity, in my opinion. They twiddle the results to see, they twiddle with the results to see if that's how I interpret this. I don't know, I'm guessing, but they twiddle the results to see QDD, query deserve diversity. Query deserve, you're like, what is that? What does QDD mean, Google? QDD means, no, QDD. QDD stands for query deserves diversity. It is an algorithm that ensures a variety of results are shown for ambiguous search terms. For example, the search Jaguar might display these different results. Now, that's actually not how QDD works. They would never do that for this anymore, right? That's how they used to explain it. QDD means query deserves diversity. They mean we don't know where in the sales funnel you are. Should we be giving you bottom of the sales funnel, middle of the sales funnel, top of the sales funnel? That's what query deserves diversity is. And like remember I said truth was a ranking factor. If your truth doesn't match the industry's truth or other people's truth, then they might give you a chance to see if maybe the truths have changed and if users click it or like it or those kind of things. That's all part of the tripartite ranking system that Google uses. One is called RankBrain. RankBrain indexes you more, crawls you more, ranks you higher. That it's opposite. It's correlate. It's the yin to its yang is SpamBrain. SpamBrain indexes you as all those hundreds of other algorithms that classifies you sooner, crawls you less, indexes you less, ranks you lower. And then the final one is Snippet Brain. Snippet Brain, which I'll put PB for Snippet Brain, is the one that decides what snippet's going to go where, and that is where QDD comes into play, right? So when you start looking at this document and finding out where Goldmine is actually noted, it's talking about the KG, and what does the KG mean? The KG is the knowledge graph. They refer to it as the KG. And they're looking for media entities and people entities. Okay, so wait a minute. The Goldmine annotations right away have something to do with twiddling, having 5 different results. This is starting to sound to me more like it is AI they use to flesh out the knowledge graph, right? They have this KG knowledge graph here, and then they have rankings. And Goldmine annotations seem to be classifying these spots in the knowledge graph that they can go then find web pages to put in these into these spots to have rankings, is what it sounds like. This is more to me, but I had to keep reading. And so long story short, I've already been doing this for quite some time. Let me get you the answer. Let me just see here and go through my email, because I did send out a thing on this recently, and I pulled out all the evidence. So let me pull it out. Where did it go? Hold on. Oh, I should have had this ready to go. CEO Goldmine. Goldmine. Boom. There we go. Here we are. Okay. Okay. So, let me share the screen again for you. Where's the share screen button? Boom. All right, let me share the screen. Okay, so this was my Long Live SEO newsletter. If you guys want to sign up for the newsletter, you can email me as well, where I talked about the Goldmine. This is one of the recent wins that we got in the AI overview. You can see this is right in September. It's only a month old. You can join. I have special pricing right now. Email me and I'll tell you about the pricing. But don't expect it to be free and don't expect it to cost as much as a cup of coffee. This is a university. This is one client will pay per month will pay for the university. So all you need is to get one client. But it is not, don't expect it to cost like what it costs for Netflix. This is professional level training. But anyway, as I was saying here, this guy thought he found the gold mine section. Here's the problem, is that he put this thing through, you could tell just by the way this is written, that he put it through the AI and asked ChatGPT, what are all these things probably? And ChatGPT, he probably asked, I can tell you right now, he asked it, what are these strategic SEO implications of these attributes in the Google API documentation? And it started hallucinating. It doesn't know. It's not magic. It's not a genie. ChatGPT is not a genie. So not only is this a rant here about how not to listen to people in the SEO industry because they have no fucking clue what they're talking about, and they do absolutely zero due diligence into any of the SEO news they put out there because they have no accountability. This guy put that out there on Twitter, asked Rusty Brick if he thought it was true, and both of those fucktards said, yeah, here it is, here you go. They endorsed it as if it is true, and now people are going to be trying to waste time and thinking of what the fuck this means, and thinking that this AI told them what it means and has some kind of magical power to do so, when it simply does not. This is totally made up. This is completely made up. This is a comedy of errors in a chain. Just play that circus in the background while I say this. Play that music in the background. You can hear it? Good. First off, the SEO industry has no fucking clue what they're doing because they listened to Google, then Google made anti-SEO algorithms and they weren't paying attention, and now they can't do any more testing. There's a special way you have to do testing because Google has tried to stop our testing. If you didn't know that and weren't watching, you could never do it. So the only group that could possibly know what we're doing is either a private Black Hat group I don't know about, that is a private mentorship group on Black Hat World you'll probably never be able to join, and I don't know if you would ever trust, or my group, because I was watching and paying attention when the anti-SEO algorithms and the spam algorithms were released. 1, it's still going. 2, because of this, because of this, the SEO industry needs to scrounge around, and because they need money, because they're all losing money, because they have no idea what they're doing, they're all failing, they need to scrounge around and find what looks like ranking factors, 1, to follow because they have and to believe because they have no idea what else to do. They should quit and just start doing paid is what they should do, and learn how to do paid Google ads really well and charge for that is what they should do. That's my best piece of advice for them. If you don't want to go work in a liquor store, liquor and drugs will never go out of style in a recession because people will need to medicate their pain. So if you don't want to own and run a liquor store or own and run a pot store, and you still want to work at home, well, I'd suggest you're learning Google Ads really well and becoming a paid consultant for Google Ads, or do both and then transition into the other one. Anyway, or join SEO University so you can actually know how SEO actually works, and then you can continue to be an SEO. Because local is still huge for SEO. AI hasn't ruined it or destroyed it yet, and maybe never will. Map rankings are probably pretty good the way they are until AI radically changes from even how we're doing it now, which is not going to be for the next 5 or 10 years. We're not going to have AGI for the next 5 or 10 years. So map rankings are going to be fine. AI overview is just another way of listing the SERPs. We can get in there. I showed you we can get in there. I showed you proof we can get in there. I could show you how to get in there. And you get way more clicks when you're in the AI overview anyway. So it's actually a good thing. So yes, SEO still exists. You still want to rank in Google, and we are the group who knows how to do it. Sadly, these people do not, because their comedy of errors led them to the situation where they have sadly no idea what they're doing. And this guy found this and thought he hit the gold mine because it said gold mine. And to his defense, these do look like they could be prime candidates for ranking factors. Don't fucking get me wrong. These are where you'd expect. This is what you would expect in this document. But he's in the wrong place. The place to see the actual ranking factors in this document is not in these sections, these Goldmine sections. These Goldmine sections have only to do with indexing doc joiner. That's what they have to do. They are index signals generated by Goldmine. It says right here verbatim, they are index signals generated by Goldmine. Index signals are not ranking signals. They're just not. So these are if they're anything, they're indexation signals. This is totally made up. These are not ranking factors. This AI just hallucinated this. And it's terrifying on a number of levels. One, that he thought this was SEO valid. Two, he thought it was ethically justifiable to just put them out there and hurt people by giving them bad information. Three, that he didn't realize his AI was hallucinating in particular. And four, that people don't realize that you cannot use an off-the-shelf AI to do SEO because it just hallucinates. It doesn't know. Gemini doesn't know. Google's Gemini does not have any secret access to the ranking factors. And if it did, you can bet dollars to donuts it would never fucking tell you, because Google wants to hurt you. Google wants to take money away from you and make money. Stop trusting Google. In my opinion, they want to hurt you. I'm allowed to have an opinion, at least still in Canada. Haha, I'm in Canada, haha. Can't trump me. Anyway, well, at least not yet. Just wait. Just wait. I will live to regret. The way the world is going, I will live to regret that particular statement. But yeah. And then so he gives them and then the next comedy of errors is he did ask, hey Rusty Brick, hey Barry, do you think this is true? And then Barry just puts it on his blog because he is having a slow news day, and lying to all these people that these are actually ranking factors and that you're wasting time or you're actually trying to use them or trying to understand what they are. This is just fluff bullshit, right? So as I said here, if you actually check, it actually has to do with the indexation, actually is what it is, as I showed you here before, and the SAFT NLP tokenization. This has to do with indexation and making SAFT tokens for filling in their natural language processing for their knowledge graph. That's what this has to do. That's it. It's not ranking factors, right? So that was the Goldmine debacle. They're not ranking factors. So sorry. Again, I don't mean anything personally against Barry or Sean for saying these things. I am a little saying shame on you for putting out information that's A, not true, B, that you haven't verified, C, that's going to hurt people. But that's not really what they're trying to do, but it's kind of what they're doing. So I mean like half shame on you. And if you want to learn what the actual ranking factors are out of that 7,414 page document, I've got them. I can show you. Email me and you can join the absolute best SEO mentorship group that has ever existed, period. Based on our longevity and the fact that we're still here. Show me another one that still exists and that you can make your money back with one client or one affiliate site that's ranking or one rank and rent site, or maybe make your money back after selling your 10 digital real estate sites after the first, second, or third month. You could pay for your tuition that way. So there you go, guys. Again, sorry, I know I ranted. I know I'm sure I rubbed everybody the wrong way. I'm sure they're all pissed off, but I will sleep perfectly fine tonight knowing that I've told the truth and that the truth here matters, and that these people needed to hear this tough love, in that, guys, that's not a ranking factor, and why are you listening to these numbnuts who don't know what they're doing? Either get serious in the SEO industry and crush it, or get a job somewhere else, because floating around the middle of page one does not cut it for longevity of an SEO business. Does not. You're going to lose that client. You're going to lose that site. It's not going to last. That's like a weak heartbeat around 40, and you're like, oh, they're doing fine. Heartbeat's 40. What should it be? I don't know, 60 BPM or whatever it is. I'm not a doctor, but you get the idea. It's not a good sign, right? I don't want to scare anybody who's got a resting heart rate of 40. You're probably in very good shape because you probably run or something and the heart's very efficient and only beats it. But you get the idea, right? You get the idea. Okay. So now let's answer all the SEO questions you got. I promised an SEO Ask Me Anything. Let's see if anyone has any questions here first on the tube views. And what questions do you guys got? Oh, none. Awesome. Less work for me. Excellent. But I'll wait a couple seconds. There are a few folks watching there on the YouTube, and I have a few folks here on the Zoom. So guys, by all means, put your questions here in the chat. Ask me any SEO questions you want. Try to stump me. See if you can ask an SEO question that I don't have the answer to. See if you can stump me. Let's play a game. Can you stump Josh with an SEO question? Let's find out. Ask me whatever you want for SEO, and we'll see if you can stump me. Otherwise, guys, email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com with any other SEO questions you got, or ask questions in the comments for YouTube. You can do it, guys. You can rank. You can make it. You can crush it. You can still do SEO. You got to learn how to do it, and you could pay back the costs of my group by having just one client, or one affiliate site, or one successful cycle of rank and rent, or one renter could possibly pay your one renter on your rank and rent site could pay for the group, and or one successful cycle of digital real estate could easily pay for your tuition. Get in here now before SEO changes in 5 or 10 years and there's like an AGI in our brain and the game totally changes. So Marcin from, I believe, Poland, if I'm not, Choiced, if I'm not mistaken, says, what is the importance of the sitemap files in regards to ranking? Great question, Marcin. So the answer is none. None. What? Oh, now your heads are exploding. Like, what? That's how you index pages. Yeah, it can be. You can use a sitemap file to index pages. If you've never lied in it, if you've never lied or made a mistake in it, they will honor it. 2, 3, does it help boost you anyway? No. Is it going to help increase your indexation rate? No. Do you need it? No. In fact, is it a crutch? Yes. In fact, if you're doing SEO the correct way, you don't need a sitemap. And you don't even want a sitemap. So if you're relying on a sitemap, that probably means you're leaving 2 or 3 major ranking factors off the table that I can think about on the top of my head. And so you shouldn't. So there's the answer, right? That's the answer. It's not in any way going to help you rank in any way, shape, or form, other than it might inexpertly and inefficiently, suboptimally, it'll get some of your pages indexed. But you should have done something else anyway to do that, which would have got you much more SEO value anyway. So I hope that answers your question. Jim says, hey Josh, is there a recommended way to set up a way to monitor AI mentions of your site in answer results, like using Cursor and Browser MCP to monitor questions or competitor instances? Wow, that's a great question, Jim. The short answer is no. I'm not. So the AI overview is quite new. The short answer is no, that I know. And I want to caution against something that I saw there. So I would caution against doing that too much. Yes, you can. And in SEO, in the SEO cycle as it exists right now, October 17th, 2025, and for the foreseeable few more months, there's a situation in which you have to do a little bit of keyword competitor research. Is that every now and then you check to see if there's an AI overview, which shows up around 50% of the time, more so for informational queries, which you shouldn't be trying to rank for to begin with, and less so for transactional queries, which is where you should be trying to rank, generally speaking, because the money is closer to hand, so you're closer to the money, so you have a better chance of making the money that's in that query. You have a better chance of unlocking the money in that niche, so to speak, if you put your key deeper into the lock. Let's put it that way. And you can think of whatever sexual metaphor you want for that. If the yeah. So the keys and locks, and I am the key master. I am the gatekeeper. Okay, so but do I know of an automatic way to do that? No, I'm sure there's some tools that are coming out now. ValueSerp, as I recall, has an AI overview that they scrape right now, as I recall. So you can get it from ValueSerp. It's the only place I know you can get it kind of en masse automatically. And then that's an API access. You could make a Python script in ChatGPT to access it, and you could give it a query. You could do this very easily in ChatGPT. You can get it to write a Python script with your API access to ValueSerp to give you the AI overview for these lists of queries, and then you can look at them and see what the AI overview is, and you can monitor competitors that way. And there's actually, but monitoring competitors that way is not at all important. That's not what you want to do with the AI overview. What you want to do with the AI overview is see other factors in the AI overview, quite frankly. Competitors being in it are a related but not as important issue. So great question, Jim. Email me and I can answer a little bit more. And again, we have a lot more information about this in the mentorship group. Nicole asks, hey Josh, hi Nicole. Last week you mentioned Google's anti-scraping momentum. I did. How worried about this are you for Copilot, and does it spell the end of SEO? Cue dramatic music. Bah, bah, bah. Good question, Nicole. A gold star for you. Actually, gold star for everyone who was asking questions here. I'll give you guys. I'll give you a gold star. Yes, that's what it's called. It's called Value SERP, Jim. That's the correct one. No, it's not the end of SEO. Again, the scrapers that we're using SEO Copilot are very intelligent. They're also powered by AI. And there's an arms race going on, like there has always been an arms race going on between scrapers and Google. Google is still kind of moving in that direction of trying to limit the scraping. But if they do that, they're going to have to cut off. Like that is a much more complex issue. It's not just like Google's going to shut her down and that'll be it. There's huge corporations. There's huge deals to be made. I see Google becoming like an API provider of the SERP and being able to make billions of dollars doing that if they see search results falling away. So we're so early in this game. We are so early in this game of the new technology being adopted that any number of things can happen. Any number of things can happen. So I'm not worried about it at all. And we're still doing SEO strong. Quite frankly, it's always going to be very difficult for Google to stop scrapers from scraping their search results. All right, guys. So on YouTube, you guys got any questions? There's more people watching on YouTube now. Guys, ask any questions that you may have. You got this is the last 10 seconds to fire the questions in there. So it's a very interesting field. It's changing. It's moving around, but it's still the place to be. SEO is still the place to be. Organic traffic is still hugely, hugely important. Organic traffic is still hugely important, and organic traffic is still hugely lucrative. And it's not time for all of us to go get Google certification in Google Ads yet. You can if you want to diversify, and that wouldn't be a bad idea to be able to do that kind of work for a client, and SEO goes hand in hand. It always has. So that might not be a bad idea. But I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form because SEO is in any way dead. The exact opposite is the case. It's never been more alive, infused with new AI tools like SEO Copilot, infused with robust, venerable, experienced, professional level mentorship groups like SEO University. And it's never been better positioned for you to make more money, because all the other SEOs who didn't know what they're doing, like cockroaches, have all fled the building, and we're the only ones standing left with all the food here and be like, okay, see ya, cockroaches, all the food's for us now. And kind of a gross metaphor, I know, but I used to work at a kitchen and there was cockroaches in it. Anyway, I still have nightmares about that. But anyway, it was a front for selling cocaine for a criminal organization, which I didn't know when my first job that I got when I was a teenager before the University of Winnipeg. There's another story I could tell you, which has nothing to do with now. So anyway, and how will you be making more money in SEO? All the people are gone. They don't know what they're doing for SEO anymore. So there's so many niches in keyword discovery and SEO Copilot, which used to be not recommended or very tough, which are now easy because SEOs don't have an idea what they're fucking doing anymore. It's never been easier if you use AI to rank, if you use SEO Copilot specifically to rank, it's never been easier. And finally, 3, if you get into that AI overview, which is what you want to do, we've never gotten this many clicks for free from Google. You get 70 to 80% of the clicks in the AI overview. Let me show you this again. Let me go here. Let me go here to my sales page, or my kind of lander page for SEO University. Getting in here is what you need to do. This is what it means for SEO. Here's the thing I want to show you. Again, this click here makes thousands and thousands of dollars, because ranking number 1 used to be 30% of the click-through rate for any given query. Now for this query, this SEO, who is a SEO, very venerable, experienced SEO in my group, is able to get these guys 70 to 80% of the clicks. Yes, you heard me right. That's the difference. Back in the day, the highest we could ever get would be 30% for ranking number one. Excuse me. So, for example, if it's 1,000 searches per month, we'd be getting 300 searches, 300 clicks. And then we convert 10% of that, which would be an incredibly good conversion rate. Then you're getting 30 sales. Now, instead, we're getting 700 clicks. And if we're converting at 10%, we're getting 70 sales. We're making times two the money, either for ourselves or for our clients, which means we can charge more and or our job is safer and will last longer. So it's never been better, guys. It really has never been better. Now is the time to invest in SEO. Now. And start getting some money coming in before this economy goes berserk or an aliens attack or something crazy like that. Now is the time to get in here and start getting your cash flow coming in, picking niches that you're like selling, I don't know, sex toys or something. So being a sex toy affiliate, that is probably another niche that will never that is a recession or depression resilient, probably, or whatever it is, right? And making money moving long term. All right, let's see if they did ask any questions here on the tube views. No questions on the tube views today. All right, guys. Well, then, thanks very much for listening and watching. That has been an hour. That's more than enough time for me to rant. Again, if you have any SEO questions at all, do not hesitate to email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. That's Josh, B as in Bob, B as in Beast. There we go. Josh, B as in Beast, ACHYNSKI, and N is in the end of Logan, SKI, at gmail.com. You too can have this much chest hair. Nicole's like, no thanks. I don't think it, or maybe, I don't know, whatever. I'm not judging, but some people are like, no thanks, we're good. You could keep the chest hair, Josh, but you too could be a beast of SEO and make a lot of money and work from home. This is my home office. I go upstairs. I was gonna make a joke about what I'm wearing underneath here. I'm not. There's too much of a visual going up. But I can go upstairs and then I can hang out and do whatever I want because I'm in my house, right? So it's a super great job. It can work for you. You can do it. You should do it. Get into SEO. Email me now. You can pay back the monthly fee or the LTD pricing that I could offer with only a few successes, and live the good life too. All right, guys. So thanks very much for listening and watching, and we will see you next week. And as I said before, as I used to say, good luck in this.